In this segment of the Cinema Courtroom Show, I want to delve into the fascinating realm of streaming services and their impact on the cinema industry, and whether or not they are truly a force to be reckoned with. Streaming services have revolutionized the way we consume content here, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, we have access through Netflix, Amazon Prime, Hulu, Disney Plus, HBO. There are many that are not in the top of my head right now, but where you can access a vast library of films and shows available like at our fingertips. You need a mobile phone, install Netflix, and you have access to a bookshelves of movies, and new movies, old movies. Usually Netflix releases movies that have played in theaters, and that's not a Netflix original, like, 6 to 8 months. But still, if people are patient enough, they'll find the movie they've always wanted to see, but they couldn't in a theater, on Netflix. And that's all because of streaming. Because streaming apparently is a substitute to cinema in a way, but not in a significant way. So, as we ask, what does this all mean for cinema? Some would argue that streaming services pose a substantial threat to the traditional cinema experience. After all, the allure of watching movies in the comfort of our own homes can be enticing. However, I'm going to get to later in this segment why cinema ultimately emerges as the winner in this changing landscape, or rather despite this changing landscape, because it always changes, but for some reason the cinema industry is still thriving despite streaming being around. But there's no doubt that streaming can open doors for independent filmmakers in a way that cinema might not. Like, these platforms have become a haven for diverse voices, sure, and enabling smaller films to reach a global audience. But, the cinema is good for big films, and big films are what is appealing to the mainstream audience. So anyway, but when it comes to streaming, the fact that we have new technology brought to the industry means that unique and innovative stories still have a chance to shine. Stories that may have otherwise struggled to find distribution through traditional channels. Like, if it wasn't for Netflix, then the indie filmmaker who created the show Squid Game, well, people wouldn't have heard of Squid Game. But now it's essentially a pop culture phenomenon. So, yeah, that's not because of the theatrical experience. It's actually because of streaming. And it's very easy when you hear all that to lose your confidence in the cinema industry because of what streaming has been able to do with universes like Marvel or The Mandalorian. Like, can you imagine having a character in a TV show in the same universe being more popular than, let's say Rey in the Star Wars films? Like, can you imagine that? Well, no, but streaming doesn't cease to amaze us when it comes to just creating captivating shows or, straight to streaming movies that sometimes people can see that as a substitute to going to the cinema to watch a movie. Additionally, streaming services have sparked a newfound interest in film history. With their extensive catalogs, viewers now have the opportunity to explore and discover cinematic masterpieces from different eras. This has reignited passion for classic films and enabled younger generations to appreciate the artistry and storytelling techniques that have shaped the medium. And let's face it, people are likely not to watch movies like The Godfather or Goodfellas or even The Lord of the Rings on DVD. Now people are consuming online subscriptions, which, that they only watch The Godfather if it's on Netflix. Streaming services have encouraged creativity and experimentation in filmmaking. With the freedom from traditional studio constraints, filmmakers can take risks and explore unconventional storytelling techniques. And if there's not going to be new ideas, well, people can watch classics on streaming. Again, as I mentioned, with people more inclined to buy DVD copies of movies like The Godfather. However, even though I'm saying all of these pros about streaming, I still think that it is important to acknowledge the value of the cinema experience. The immersive atmosphere, IMAX or 4DX or 3D or 3D IMAX or Max, or there are so many formats that takes up the size of the whole lot. Cinema remains an irreplaceable communal experience that brings people together, offering a unique sense of escapism and emotional connection. In conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, while streaming services have undoubtedly disrupted the industry, and we went in great depth about that, we firmly believe that cinema ultimately emerges as the winner. These services have provided opportunities for indie filmmakers, rekindled interest in classic cinema, and fueled innovation in storytelling. As we navigate the new era of film consumption, let us embrace the best of both worlds, streaming and cinema, cherishing the magic of the cinema experience while also relishing the convenience and diversity that streaming services bring. So you know what? Perhaps we shouldn't be labeling streaming services as a hostile force against the cinema industry, but rather they can both propel each other to success. What do you think about streaming services? Are they a reckoning force in our industry, or do you think the exact opposite like I do? I mean, it doesn't matter if you do, but whatever your valuable insights are, share them in the comments section below or our Twitter inbox at Cinema Courtroom.